Victor Fries has been leading a regular life in the North Pole with a youngster named Koonak and a pair of polar bears who serve as his devoted pets. Together with his wife Nora, who is still cryogenically preserved in her container, Fries managed to escape his seeming death in Gotham City. Unfortunately, a sumbarine and its crew are exploring the area and decimate Fries's haven, destroying Nora's container in the process. Fries is forced to assume the identity of Mr. Fries once more as a result of the terrible incident, and after freezing the crew to death, he moves toward Gotham City. A few days later in Gotham, Batman and Robin catch a couple of small-time burglars before driving to a social event while changing into new clothes. When they arrive, Commissioner Gordon welcomes them and is happy to see that Dick has arrived before his daughter Barbara, who is also Dick's date. When Barbara discovers the time and rushes to the party, she is actually Batgirl battling crime when everyone thinks she is getting ready for the party. When Gregory Belson's stockbroker, Dean Arbogast, tells him that he needs to deal with an overdue debt at the party, Belson becomes upset and decides to leave because he lacks the resources to do so. Just then, Barbara shows up at the party looking breathtakingly gorgeous. After saying hello to her father, she joins Dick to enjoy the celebration, because they had recently developed a serious relationship. Meanwhile, Belson is driving away from the party when he suddenly comes across a completely frozen part of the road. Belson can't control his car, and the vehicle careens off the road and is flipped upside down. As Belson comes out of the vehicle unharmed, he is confronted by Mr. Freeze, who needs Belson to help him save his wife. Bruce Wayne decides to leave the party shortly after, but Dick and Barbara stay and start making preparations for the coming days. Bruce requests Alfred to drive him back to his house, but when they encounter a sizable body of water in the middle of the road, they are compelled to come to a stop. Bruce gets out of the automobile and sees Belson's car next to the road. He goes over to the car to check at the paperwork and discovers who Belson is. Freeze has taken Belson to his lair where he says that in order to save Nora from impending death, he needs Belson. Only an organ transplant may save her, according to Belson, but there aren't any available donors at Gotham General Hospital right now. Then Freeze determines that they should simply take a donor by force, even if doing so results in the death of an innocent person. Belson is hesitant about the whole thing, but Freeze assures him that the gold will help him pay off his debts, so he accepts. As a result, the two of them begin looking through the hospital's database of patients to find someone who shares Nora's traits and blood type, and they discover Barbara Gordon to be the ideal match. Freeze searches for Barbara after dialing her college number and asking her roommate where she is. When Freeze storms in with his two polar bears and begins attacking people in order to get Barbara, things are just starting to become romantic between Barbara and Dick Grayson at the Shaughnessy's Club. Barbara surrenders to stop anyone from getting hurt, while Dick confronts Freeze and his bears. Dick tries to stop them, but he is unsuccessful, and Freeze is able to load Barbara onto his van and go. When Dick starts pursuing him, the police quickly join in, but Freeze stops them with his ice gun and flees. Barbara is taken to Freeze's hideout, where they try to give her medication, but she refuses to take anything and is left locked in a room. Meanwhile, Commissioner Gordon organizes the entire Gotham City Police Department to find her daughter, and afterwards, he talks to Dick, who has been taken to the hospital to treat the injuries caused by Freeze. After Dick has told Gordon everything, the Commissioner reveals that the only lead they have is the enigmatic call that Barbara's roommate received, purporting to be from the hospital and asking about Barbara's eligibility to donate blood. Due to this hint, Bruce is able to access the hospital's blood donor database and determine that Nora Freeze and Barbara's blood types are compatible. Barbara, who is being held captive, tries to flee through the building's ventilation system as this is happening. During her effort to flee, she discovers Nora Freeze, who is only just alive due to special devices, and Freeze informs her that they require a blood donor to save her life. Although Barbara would be happy to assist, she does not like this. Barbara tries to leave the facility again, but when she gets outside, she discovers that she has been transferred to an offshore oil rig. Barbara is returned to her room and shackled to a bed with no way out. There, she is permanently trapped. Meanwhile, Batman and Robin investigate about cryogenic technology, and after a visit to GothCorp, they learn that Belson is the leading person in that area of expertise. Belson is nowhere to be found, and the duo interrogate his stockbroker to learn his location. The man doesn't know the truth, but during the interrogation, he receives a call from Belson. Batman records the call, then takes the recording to the Batcave, where he uses his tools to determine the call's location. Alfred looks into the inventory of tools used in recent cryogenic experiments as Bruce is doing this, and informs Batman that the most recent tools are utilized to carry out an organ transplant. Batman and Robin quickly make their way in the Batwing to the oil rig after learning this. Koonak, the young boy, gives Barbara some food at that same moment and expresses sympathy for her. Freeze is asked by Koonak to pledge that he won't harm Barbara, but Belson tells him that Nora is stable and that they should start the operation right away. Koonak observes Barbara is resisting and he diverts them, allowing Barbara to fight and flee the scene. Freeze and Belson catch Barbara and transport her to the operating room where they intend to begin the procedure. While Belson pursues Barbara, Freeze concentrates on repairing the mechanism that keeps Nora alive that was destroyed during the scuffle. The pursuit takes them to the oil tanks, where Belson begins firing at Barbara. Just as Batman and Robin arrive, the oil that has been spilt starts to catch fire. The fire spreads swiftly, and soon the top portions of the oil rig begin to catch fire. Batman and Robin assist Barbara in reaching the polar bears after defeating Freeze's polar bears and causing them to fall into the water. However, Freeze has already arrived and is attempting to use his gun to freeze them. The two hide behind a crane's booth, but Freeze encases the booth in ice, trapping them inside. Freeze is about to capture a helpless Barbara, but part of the structure of the oil rig falls on top of him, breaking his leg. Batman and Robin find a way to escape from the frozen booth, and they help Freeze get out of the rubble. Freeze tells them to go save Nora, and together, Batman and Barbara descend to rescue her and Koonak, while Robin gets the Batwing ready to leave in a hurry. Thanks to Freeze's help with his ice rifle, Batman and Barbara just escape the fire's rapid destruction alive. Take Nora and Koonak somewhere safe, and Freeze instructs them to return for him later. When Barbara boarded the aircraft, Batman left Nora with Robin and returned for Freeze. The oil rig is coming apart, and the structure is slowly collapsing while the fire creates bigger explosions, which causes big pieces of debris to fall and kill Belson, who is trying to escape. Batman finds Freeze, but the floor underneath them breaks apart, and Freeze starts falling. Batman grabs him with his batarang, but as debris falls on him, he is forced to let go of Freeze and throw him into the seas below the blazing oil rig. Once Freeze is gone, Batman sprints in the direction of the Batwing and grabs hold of the underside of the aircraft as the oil rig explodes, leaving only thick smoke in its wake. Freeze is being transported to safety by his polar bears via the ocean as the heroes depart the location where they were carrying Nora and Koonak to safety. Later, when Freeze has returned to the North Pole, he visits a weather station where he finds out that Bruce Wayne, who paid for the treatment by using Freeze's technology, has paid off by curing his devoted wife Nora. Freeze is overcome with happiness and sobs for the first time in years as he walks away with his devoted bear pals, even though everyone else thinks he is dead.